Hey, what's up guys? Today we're going to learn about all the basics of chess, but before we get into that, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more great chess videos. So this is going to be how you set up the board. Remember, the white queen is on the white color square and the dark queen is on the dark color square. It goes rook, knight, bishop, king, and then just like this, pawns all in front. So now we're going to look at how these pieces move. So we're going to start with pawns. So on the first move, pawns can go 2 squares, so here. And if you look over here at the score sheet, this is going to be how you're going to write your moves when you play in tournaments. It's very important to write your moves, that way you can analyze your games and find out where you made mistakes. So here, if he goes b5, here pawns don't capture straight, they capture diagonally like this. So they can take on b5. And something special about a pawn, if it gets all the way to the end, it can get a queen. Now one thing that I notice is people, when they're playing, they just try to pawn race. But here, after this move, you can just go king d7, and now you can stop this pawn. And now you can stop him from getting a queen. So something there. And then remember, they don't capture head-to-head like this. Here you cannot capture. And don't forget that they can also go one square, like this, this, this. And check the notation over here. Alright, so now we're going to look at knights. So knights are very, very special and very tricky. And one more thing, pawns are worth 1 point. So a knight is worth 3 points. How a knight moves is it can go 1 square in any direction and then diagonally like this. So here, all you have to look at is where is the final square. So here, you can play knight takes f2. And when you capture, you're going to write n for knight cross f2, the final square. So here, remember, all we care about is the final square. This knight can also go here to d2. So here on this way, we just go here and either one of these squares. Remember, the knights can jump over, so they don't worry about what's in the way. So you can go here or here. Now here, remember, once again, we only care about the final square. So up 1, diagonal here or diagonal here. You would go right around this pawn over here, like this and like this. And then lastly, make sure you count right. You don't want to go 1, 1, and then diagonal. It's just 1 diagonal, like this or this. This knight can come here, or this knight can come here. So knights are very, very tricky pieces because they can jump. It's kind of hard to predict. Once again, they're worth 3 points. And they need to be close to the action. They can't fight from far away. So next we have the bishop. Bishops are also worth 3 points, but they can fight from very, very far away. Bishop can move any amount of squares in the diagonal direction. So if you go here, 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 just like this, all around this. And if you look at the shape, it's like the bishop is making an X with how it moves. And bishops love open positions because here, as you can see, this bishop pair controls so many squares on this board because it's wide open. So that's how the bishop moves. Next, we're going to come to the rook. Rooks are kind of like bishops, but instead of diagonally, they can move straight and sideways. So here, we could do like this. Rook takes f6, and then here, if both rooks can move here, this rook can go to f6, this rook can go to f6. We specify by adding another letter. So this the C rook captured f6. Remember, R is for rook. So here, let's say black does the same thing. We went side to side, and now we'll go up and down. And they can go any amount of squares in that direction. And rooks are worth 5 points, so a little bit more than a bishop and a knight. So next we have the queen. The queen is the most important piece. Not the most important, but the most valuable piece. It's worth 9 points, and it can move basically just like a rook and a bishop. It can move any direction sideways, and vertically, and any direction diagonally like this. So basically a rook and a bishop, but since it's one piece, it's worth 9 points instead of 5 plus 3. So that's how the queen moves. Make sure you don't move your queen out too early, you don't want to lose it. And basically the king is kind of like the queen, but it can only move 1 square in each direction. So like here or here. And then if you move the queen, make sure you're moving with a Q. So Q to the final square like this. Okay, so that's how all the pieces move. Now we're going to look at castling. So there's 2 types of castling, kingside castling and queenside castling. So kingside castling is like this. Basically either way, the king moves 2 squares in this direction. Now you can only castle if you haven't moved your king, you haven't moved your rook, and there's no piece blocking this. Like if there was a bishop here attacking this square, the king cannot hop over this. So here, let's say we kingside castle. We'd write O-O like this. So kingside castling is what you'll see a lot of. It's very normal. But there's also queenside castling. You go 1, 2, hop like this, the rook comes here, and we do O-O to differentiate. So queenside castling is good for attacking. You can see this rook is already coming to this open file, though it is a little bit easier to attack. So there are pros and cons to kingside castling and queenside castling. And lastly, but almost most important, is checkmate. So how do we checkmate and how do we check? So when we check, let's say we go like here. The queen is attacking this king. That's what we call a check. And here we have a plus sign to show that. Now here, a checkmate is when you put the king in check and the king can't move anywhere. So here you could go queen g7. This queen is attacking this king. The king cannot take here because this king is supporting. And there's nowhere for this king to go. So this would be checkmate, and you would write a pound sign like this. Another checkmate would be queen h7. Once again, the king is stuck. Now, something you really don't want to do is go queen f7. This is a nishigiri kind of move. Basically, what it does is this king is not in check, but it can't move anywhere. So this is what we call stalemate. So especially at the end of the game when you have a lot of pieces, the opponent has nothing, please, please, please make sure you don't stalemate your opponent. So that's going to be how to write your moves, how to move all the pieces. So now you know how to play chess. So hope you guys enjoyed this video and hope you guys were entertained.